Hey y'all, so I am out in the front yard, obviously, and I thought I would do a really quick video of just kind of what the front and the back look like currently. So we just got a lot of rain, some much needed rain. I'm super thankful for that, but it kind of freshened everything up just a little bit, makes everything look just a little bit better. We got rain a couple days ago as well, so that always helps the plants. Like, I feel like they just look greener, they're just more perked up, and it's the perfect time to kind of give a little tour, I think. And the front still needs the boxwoods trimmed up, and I will not do that until after the tulips are blooming. It's too much to maneuver around, but I did trim up the ones in the back last weekend because I knew that we were going to kind of get a cold front that came through with some much needed rain. So I knew that those boxwoods would kind of flush back and be totally fine. The weather is crazy here. I actually just saw on Facebook that Mike Morgan, our local meteorologist, he is saying that Saturday we may be getting snow. And it might be 33 degrees. So the Oklahoma weather is crazy. I feel like a lot of the weather is crazy nowadays, and it's just kind of like rolling with the punches. I hope, he said the low was 33. Let's hope it doesn't get below freezing. That will mess a bunch of things up. But you know, it just is what it is. You kind of got to roll with it. I can't cover everything that I have up here. There's a lot of new fresh buds on all of the salvia. Everything is just starting to really put on a lot of growth and starting to bud out. So I'm really hoping that it doesn't get zapped by a freeze, but we'll see. You know, it just is what it is. And the only things that I will cover if we end up getting a freeze is my tomatoes and my peppers that I've already planted back there. And this is wouldn't be unexpected. Like we always typically say here in zone 7 that I wouldn't count on not having another freeze until after Easter. So anyways, let me flip my camera around here. I'll show you the look of the front. I have some more Leva tulips blooming, and some of the Minton tulips are starting to bloom as well. The Leva and the Minton are both mid-blooming tulips, and the big apricot that really mostly at this point, I think, are more or less past their prime. Those are early blooming tulips, obviously. So let me flip my camera around. I'll show you some of the transplanted echinacea. I'll show you the look of the tulips. There's some larkspur coming up. The salvia is really starting to bud out. So getting very, very excited. This is my favorite time of year. Sorry about the sirens in the background, but they've been going off for a while. So this is a very pretty view, I think, of the front with the tulips. I will probably go down here more towards the street here shortly and give you a little better look of the Minton versus the big apricot versus the Leva. But you can see here there is some Veronica. This is some stuff that I actually already planted, but it's been in the ground for probably 2.5+ weeks at this point. It's taking really well. It's all looking really good. Some of the allium here in the bowl is really starting to take off and push new growth. A lot of my little bunny dwarf grasses here, we'll see if all of them made it this year. If you've followed along for some time, you realize that I had a little bit of a hassle with them last year. I lost a lot of them last year, and I decided to replace them and give them one more go, because I really like them. I really like the seed heads that they produce, and they're very small, compact border grass that I think add a lot of interest to a garden. The Hellemonstein lambs are here, just crushing it. It always goes for it. The boxwoods, can't wait to shear those up just a little bit. We've got some Veronica back here from last year. The Veronica hasn't quite put on new buds yet. Sorry, that was just really sidetracking me. Somebody just ran into the curb out by the street. But anyways, the Veronica hasn't pushed enough new growth yet to start to bud out. The salvia that you see back there, those two far ones back there, I did recently plant those, but Nemorosa Rose right here, this is last year's plant, and it is already budding out. I can't recommend Nemorosa Rose Marvel Salvia enough. Love it. Would plant it everywhere, and in fact I probably will be planting some in the back this year. The alliums are really starting to go crazy. You'll see here There's a bunch of alliums tucked in here. This looks like dead space, but it's not dead space. The Post Castle Artemisia, which you see right there, over there, and the catmint here. I think it's Check Me Out or Perfect Pink catmint. I can't remember. I will look it up and I will put that on the screen. That way you know. But all of this will be filled in very quickly by the Post Castle and the catmint. More salvia here, Nemorosa rose that is about to just bust out in bloom. Here is a good look down here of the tulips. Okay, so I will say, if you've watched the last video of the tulips, you'll know that I had some Leva tulips come up, which you see these right here, back there. That is a Leva tulip, and it's not the color that it was advertised as, and I was a little bit concerned about it. But look here, right there, there is another light pink Leva, and this is another light pink Leva. So there might be just a little variation, which makes me really excited because I really want that lighter pink color. That's what I was going for. But the dark pink looks really pretty too. I think that tulip might just be a little bit inconsistent. I'm not really sure. But here is the mitten. So the mitten is a very pretty, you can see here like on the very edge. They're not open yet, and like I said today, it's very cool, and they've just started to produce blooms. I actually haven't seen the mittens open up yet, so I can't show you the inside of one yet, and I looked before I started this video and I just didn't see one that was completely open to show you. But the combination of that mitten with the Leva right here, I think is really pretty, and the big apricot has that same, the big apricot is obviously more apricot color, more orange, and then it has pink veining. I'll try to find one that's still looking good. There's one up here, but it's a little bit opposite. So this is like pink with some little light orange edging, and the big apricot looks more like this. So kind of hard to tell. It's more of like the internal, and I will show you the internal of the mittens when they start to open, but you can see that this one is called big apricot for obvious reasons. Somebody asked me the other day, this is a good shot, I think this is really pretty. You can see like the tulips that are just kind of meandering through the front yard. Gosh, this is my favorite time of year. I love it so much out here this time of year. Had a question about the grasses. Someone commented on the grasses. The grasses that I have in the front yard are Mexican feathergrass, and then over here earlier, right there, I showed you the little dwarf bunny grass. So somebody also commented that I noticed that you did not cut back the Mexican feathergrass, and you are absolutely correct. I do never cut this back. The winter interest of this, when it is that more blonde color, is really pretty, and a huge reason why I planted Mexican feathergrass here like we did at our old house. It adds a bunch of texture, but you can also see here that it just fills in really nicely. It's like a combination of the tan grass blades that are starting to die off with the new growth of the green. I think it's just really pretty. This over here is the west side of our yard. Again, all of this dead space will be easily filled in by the catmint and the Post Castle Artemisia. You can see I need to move this Mexican feathergrass right there, probably closer down to here. It got swallowed up by the Artemisia there last year. And check this out. Because this gets so much more sun over here, so much more heat, look at that Nemorosa rose, Salvia. So pretty. I did not plant those red tulips. Those are volunteers that have came back from previous years, but look how pretty this is. I love it. We're about to get a lot of color up here, and I can't wait to start planting annuals up here. I will be going with compact purple sun patience. So New Guinean patience, for those of you that call them by that name, that is what we'll will be going up here annual wise. They are on the more expensive side of annuals, but you need one plant to create a lot of impact. I will probably pack this bed full of compact purple sun patience, but if you didn't want to pack something full, the one plant provides a lot of interest. It gets fairly large. So this over here is, as I mentioned in previous videos, is my project for this spring up here. Oh, here's good pictures of some big apricot. These get a little more protected over here. They're on the east side, so that is a good look here of the bigger apricot versus the Minton. Just a little more apricot. Got some tulips coming up over here, starting to bloom in the window box there. I'll take you over here on a look of the side. I'm really, really happy with kind of how this turned out over here. I lost a penstemon over here as well. I'm missing one in between this one and that one. That is Midnight Masquerade penstemon. So I need to get a replacement for that. Still need to, I'm running out of time. Honestly, I said last fall I was gonna rotate this boxwood. This boxwood got damaged when our roof was replaced. Our roof is extremely steep and some shingles came straight off there, obviously, and hit that and kind of damaged this really massive boxwood, which is super disappointing, but it was our only plant damage in our entire roof replacement. So I was really actually pretty excited about that. This looks so much better over here. We had all of this done. For those of you that may not have seen the previous video on this over here, obviously I still need to get some of those blocks cleared up, and we still need to paint a lot of the utility lines, but I'm really, really happy with this. And then we have a juniper here that we planted. It's low maintenance, but it adds like a little something over here. We could have squeezed a couple in here and maybe one right here, but I didn't want to lose the light that comes in any of these windows over here. So this will make over here so much more maintenance free. And we didn't remove these grasses right here because it helps with runoff a lot. And so this is not a place that we really pay attention to much. So the least amount of maintenance that we have to do over here, the better for us, the more we can do up here. And then I need to bury a lot of these lines. So they've just they're landscape lighting lines, and over time and with rain and just kind of some runoff and things like that, that's what tends to happen with landscape lines, and you just kind of need to bury them a little bit. But now let's go to the back because I really want to show you some new things that we got back there. Alex finished some stuff back there for us here recently, and I'm really excited with how that turned out. So let's head to the back. I had asked Alex, actually, before I tell you that story, let me flip my camera around real quick and I'll show you the Espalier. The video for the Espalier wall will be coming out tomorrow. And so I want to kind of give you a look at what it looks like right now before you see that video. It's going to look so good. Nellie Mosier clematis and multi-blue clematis. Really excited. This project needed to get done for a long time. We just put it off. We had the wire right after we moved in, which was over 2 years ago at this point, and we just never got it done. And then I started looking at pictures from our old house, and I was like, why have we not done that project yet? It adds so much interest to an otherwise really boring fence or really boring wall. And espalier just means growing and controlling something in a flat plane. So super fun. Look for that video coming out tomorrow. But back to what I was saying is that I asked Alex to make me a gate for the raised bed area back in the back. And we had some extra edging, and I had played around last year with completely taking that fence out and replacing that fence with a totally corten steel fence. And that area does get a lot of afternoon sun. And so actually the comments that you guys gave me when I mentioned that in a video, you said that's going to get really, really hot over there. And you guys did have a point. While I don't think it would have been hot enough to really damage anything, I do have a beehive over there now behind that, and I really didn't want any extra heat radiating from that fence. So thank you guys for that, because it wasn't something that I was thinking about, but we had some extra edging. And so I wanted to make a gate. We have a new puppy now, and I wanted to be able to close that off completely should we just want to close it off. He is very good back there, and we're training him not to be in the beds, but you know how puppies go. So I wanted a gate, and I also wanted an arch, and the opening for that space back there is extra wide, and so it was hard to find like just a pre-made arch to go back there. And so what I did was had Alex also build me an arch. So I will show you that when we get back here, but I'll show you kind of what the backyard status is right now. The backyard still needs a lot of work. It is our main focus this spring and this coming summer. So it still needs a lot of plants to fill in. It still needs some design decisions made. It still just basically needs a lot. So we will be working on that, but let me just flip around my camera and I'll show you what we look like currently. All right, so this is the view when you walk in the backyard. Ignore the plants that need to get put in the ground, but the hostas are starting to come up here, and the lime green hues back here is what I'm going for. Is what I was going for last year. I still really love that lime green look in a pretty shaded location. I think it just adds a little bit of brightness, and I just really like it. So ignore all the puppy toys. I did trim up some of these boxwoods back here. I'll show you here. I need to replace 2 boxwoods back here. I sheared these up. These will be a square hedge over here, and I will plan on planting annuals in front of those, but eventually I want them just kind of right below that windowsill there. And those were the only 2 well, I say that, and now I'm looking at this one over here in the pot. That gets so much protection from rainfall and stuff because it's under that eave that boxwood did not do well. But 3 boxwoods, not too terribly bad. We realized that we had a sprinkler issue over here, and it wasn't hitting certain parts of this boxwood hedge. And I can't remember exactly when I planted these last year, but if I remember correctly, it was starting to get a little bit hot. And even though this gets a decent amount of shade, obviously there's 2 boxwoods that still suffered from lack of water and possibly heat. So I have a lot of repeats back here. Again, hostas are coming up. Hedged this boxwood back here. This will be the same. Planted these, yeah, I think it was last year as well. My dates run together, but anyways, this will be a taller hedge as well. It will also be square. I have some grasses that need to be cut back there, but again, I won't do that until after our chance of last frost. And there is some green coming up through there, so those are still kicking it, but ready for this to get higher. This will eventually be coming off the house, and I'll probably put it on a post over here somewhere. I'm not totally sure yet, and that is just still TBD, but a lot of the ajuga, the painted ferns, the holly ferns, just everything looking pretty good back there. This is a pretty moist area. It stays pretty shaded. It does get a lot of trample here. I've got to probably add a stone here because I just constantly walk through that to turn on that hose over there, which is another reason why I want to put it here probably, or over there somewhere, and run an extension to it, because this is the reason that there's no ajuga growing here like you can see everywhere else, is because this is my walking path, and I either need to put another stone there, which I don't think I want to do, or change the location of the hose. So the hollies are getting ready to burst out into full bloom, which the bees absolutely love Nellie Stevens hollies. They go crazy for them every single year, so they are almost to that point. You can see the white buds starting to appear. Need to do some trimming on these oak leaf hydrangeas. Gotta decide what I'm going to do with the barberry here and here. I don't know if I want to trim it up and like kind of hedge it up like a boxwood, or if I want to continue to allow it to kind of go crazy and be just kind of an untamed plant back here. I'm not really sure, but it does get fairly large, so I will have to tame it at some point. But I do love the lime green color. And in fact, it was something when the barberry were here when we moved in. And so it was something when we moved in, I thought I was going to remove. And then I liked how much the lime green looked with the color of the fence, etc. And I decided to keep them. And in fact, I actually planted a few more in the landscape back here. So you can see right there as well. Have some iris and some coral charm peonies that are about to just totally bust into bloom. Got some big old buds on them. Can't wait. One of my favorite plants, certainly favorite spring plant. Have some Ito peonies here, Takara and Kieko. Can't remember which one's which, but when they bloom, I'll be able to tell you. Hedged up boxwoods here. All the boxwoods are hedged up. These need a little more of filling in, so I didn't hedge those two back there that look fairly wispy. I actually transplanted those from a different location. So the teddy bear magnolia, I don't know if I like it. And you can see, this was here last year. I can't believe that I'm showing you guys this, but there was like a twine bird's nest in it when they brought it here. There was no birds in it. There was no chicks in it or anything like that. But I just haven't removed it, and I don't know why, because every time I come out here, it bothers me. But I don't love this tree. I do not love... I really went back and forth between Little Jim and Teddy Bear, and I think I should have picked Little Jim. I love the Little Jim that's up in the front. I like it so much better than this Teddy Bear. So I'm going to give the Teddy Bear a little bit longer. It really struggled last year. It struggled, and it's still struggling. And I don't know if it just doesn't like its location. I've fertilized it. I've done all of the things, and I just don't love it. So we'll see. Probably gonna give it one more growing season, and then it's gonna be out if it doesn't start to perform. It could go somewhere else, obviously, but I'm not loving it there. The blue spruce back there, or it's a juniper, I think, actually, and we transplanted that back there last year, and it did really, really well. And it thrived all season long, and in the winter, just got it. So that is going to be removed. When it got dug up, it was dug up not by us, and I really thought when we transplanted it, this thing doesn't really have much of a chance, and because of the root ball and kind of how it was dug up. So it surprised me last summer. Did really well last summer, but the winter did it in. I need to divide some iris here and really work on a lot of things over here. Again, everything needs to be filled in. I've transplanted a lot of purple echinacea back behind the teddy bear magnolia, and then there's a lot of spring iris and things like that come up here that I'm still learning where they are, because it's not something that I planted. Still undecided on this juniper here. It leans, and I don't really love it. So that is kind of, I'm still throwing around some ideas on that, but hedged up boxwoods here. And here is the gate, which I absolutely love. I think it gives a modern flair to an otherwise very traditional fence back here. We already had the material, and I think Alex knocked it out of the park. I know that there are going to be some people that absolutely hate this gate, and that is fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I absolutely love it. And then he also made me this custom arch to go on top of these posts here. So I'm very, very happy with this gate and how it looks. Let's go back here. I'll kind of show you how things are looking back here. Not planted any seed yet. My bees are killing it over there, getting ready to treat with another round of oxalic acid vaporization tomorrow, actually, Friday. So the Espalier pear, putting on a ton of new growth with fruit starting to produce. Very happy with that. Have some random perennials that I planted last year. This is all bee balm and goldenrod and milkweed. I have a bunch of alyssum that I seeded last year in this area. The bees really loved that alyssum late in the season, and it has self-seeded. It's volunteered, so I'm probably going to let that just kind of go crazy, do its thing. There is a lot of things that are volunteers, they're self-seeded. There's still a few things here that I need to get transplanted out into the landscape. This entire bed was full of purple coneflower, and I transplanted all of it in one weekend, but I still have a few remaining that I need to pop out there. I got tired, and so I quit. Gosh, we still need to get this. I don't know why our painters, when they painted our house, didn't do this, but we need to clean up some of this at the bottom, put an edge on the bottom of that so that it looks much cleaner. That touches the dirt there, and so it just really needs to be cleaned up. It needs to be sanded, and it needs to be painted. This table will not stay. I am actually looking for a limestone vessel that I can make into a watering station for my bees. That needs to go as well. We had the gutters redirected when we had our roof done and our gutters replaced. We got the doors on this cabinet, this cedar cabinet right here, straightened up. It got a new latch recently. And the peppers and tomatoes and dill, people were a little concerned about this in my video. This bed is really large, you guys, and I realize that there is risk for some things if you plant tomatoes with strawberries, etc. I've never had any issues with it, so those are just things that I don't really worry about. Like if I was growing a lot of vegetables, I would really worry about companion planting, but I'm not concerned with it really. Popped a tomato here and a serrano pepper here with the hollyhocks. I will basically keep these hollyhocks like clear of this serrano pepper. I'll just manage it as it grows. I didn't want to stick it in some random bed. And then this over here, I will still plant something over here. I'm not sure what. This gets a lot of protected shade, so that it doesn't get near as much sun as everything from here over gets. So I have to consider that. Have my fig tree over here, and then it just needs to be up potted. That will happen here pretty soon. My watering station currently for my bees is that bird bath, which requires me to fill it up multiple times a day when it is hot and sunny, which is why I will be getting a new vessel that holds much more water for my bees. So when I'm out of town and things like that, I don't have to have someone come over here and water the bees. My new hive is here. My package actually comes in either April 10th or April 14th. They usually give you 2 dates to just make sure that adverse weather doesn't happen. And then obviously this hive over here is doing really well, and they are going to be getting their second to last OAV, oxalic acid vaporization treatment, and then the honey super is going to go on probably here in the next couple weeks. The honey super is going to go on, and then hopefully we get honey. I've been waiting over a year for honey, and I'm very excited. It's a very delayed gratification process, which I'm totally fine with. I didn't get these bees for honey. I got these bees for pollination, and so still very excited to put on the honey super here shortly. All right, well guys, I think that is all that I have for this video. I appreciate you guys so much for watching. If you wouldn't mind, please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye. I should also mention, for those of you that didn't turn off this video as soon as I said please like and subscribe, I will be giving a reveal of the bathroom soon. The only thing that I'm missing at this point is the shades for the sconces, and they were supposed to ship at the end of March, and they did not ship at the end of March, and so they're expected the second week of April. And so I'm hoping that that date is accurate, because that is all that I'm waiting on to show you guys the bathroom. So anyways, if you made it this far, there's your tidbit on the bathroom. Tons of people are asking. You'll have a little bit more information than everybody else has. Catch you guys in the next video. Bye.